It is Sportsfeld. We're back in the chairs, baby. Lots happened.
So much has happened.
Things keep happening between the shows.
It's nice. I like that they're happening throughout the week and not the second that we finish recording.
We've yet to come in and say, well, 7 days and there was no events.
It's nice that
we got close.
It's nice to have the games back because there's always
it is true.
A thing.
And all kinds of stuff on and off the field, really.
Yeah.
The field, I say.
An exciting time. The field, the ice, the court.
Pitch.
The pitch. I
think that's it.
Winter meetings.
Yeah, the GM meetings. The Collusion Fest.
Yeah.
2019.
Let's not pay anybody.
Yeah, we got our first linky that the Blue Jays are going to be in on Jake Odorizzi, but not get him.
So excited for...
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Tanner Rourke, baby.
Pull yourself out here because it's going to happen. Yeah, anyway, this is not a show about the Blue Jays offseason yet.
No.
It will get there.
Well, I mean, every week's just going to be, they're in on a guy and they're not going to get him.
Plenty to say, but not today. Not this.
Excited for the Matt Shoemaker re-signing to make the impact.
I better hope so. Okay. The actual stuff that happened though. we could do the
cynical Blue Jay thing.
Dismissively wanking with the Jays for 8 months if we wanted to.
True.
Well, topics such as more like done cherry.
Hey.
More like gone cherry.
Gone cherry.
Got any others?
Old racist shitheel? I don't know.
Yeah. We had the Raptors. The
depth is being challenged.
Part of the schedule that we circled and said, I can't wait for the LA trip. And they lost 4 important players, but still looking pretty decent.
That we'll get into it. But
if anything, looking better.
That Lakers game was insanely fun.
It's about as good as regular season games get.
Yeah.
Toronto FC's run ended in Seattle in the rubber match of the MLS Cup.
Indeed.
The Maple Leafs, same old. Well, they got healthy just in time to get hurt.
Yeah, they won a few games. Things were looking up, and then Mitch Marner goes down.
We'll go into that, but we're less excited about that than we got the other stuff. Also, speaking of excited about stuff, let's get to the real nitty gritty. Beer o'clock.
It's beer.
It's beer o'clock.
It's noon, so.
It's the Aveling Brewery. As you know.
Oh, this can is cold. That's nice.
As you know if you're listening to the show, because we don't have new listeners ever.
I don't think so. You're here. You're sticking with us. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Maybe tell someone that doesn't listen to the show.
Heard all the jokes. As you probably know, last week we have another new brewery. It's November, so it's time for a new brewery. We welcome Aveling Brewery to the show.
Local Toronto.
Right around the corner.
Neighborhood.
Literally like a stone's throw if you have a good arm. 1042 Queen Street East in Toronto. They've been gracious enough to throw us some beer. I believe Clay watched these get canned.
I think so. I think these are the ones that we weren't allowed to do last week because they were too new a beer.
Because the batch number on them is like 21.
Yeah, this is 20. This one is 21. Yeah.
We're talking about
that's like as fresh as it gets.
It's a Vienna lager. It's a 5%. It was the Salieri.
I like the name.
Clever name.
I'm big on puns, and Vienna lager making it Salieri. That's pretty funny.
It's a 5% with a fiery copper color that foreshadows a deep maltiness. Wow.
I give that 8 Tom Hulse's Mozart laughs out of 10.
You want to talk about writing some copy?
It's a very specific joke.
I believe you.
Thanks.
You want to talk about writing some copy?
Josh
and this
will
is
get it.
Not to continue shading Clay when he's not here.
No, but you can.
He's in Hawaii, so fuck him.
Yeah, he's having a better. It's cold here. He's in Hawaii.
Just compare this sentence to what we've gotten in a previous copy, right? A fiery copper color that foreshadows a deep maltiness. That's
real ad copy.
That is legitimately like, yeah. Some people sat around a desk and they thought about that for like an hour.
Yeah. Clays would be like, it's beer. You know, you love beer. Everyone
beersy! Exclamation point. We love you, Clay. It's also a taste of earthy hops, which brings harmony and balance to the beer. Amen to that. We will open the can, drink, and talk about it.
Ooh, nice and close. See, there's another joke that the listeners to our show weren't new yet. That's quite nice.
You gotta love it.
I feel like it's really good. It's also the opposite beer for the weather currently.
Right.
Like that at a cottage. Ooh.
Yeah, this is I would call this one of those. This is like a 10. You drink 10 of these.
Yeah. Yeah, 100. Yeah.
It's a 10 drinker.
It's a ballpark beer.
Absolutely correct.
This is one of those
dangerous.
This is one that because like usually the 10 beers are like 3.9, 4%.
Yeah.
This one's 5. This will fuck you up.
This is one where halfway through the first one, you're like, I should call some people over.
Yeah. Like, I'm just going to have one tonight, chill at home.
We should turn this
we should do something.
From me on a balcony to us on a balcony.
Yeah.
Once again, 1042 Queen Street East. Come in and try the Salieri Vienna Lager. There's also a full meal. Somebody, our good friend Sarah, mentioned to me that like if we come here early enough, it's a good place for like breakfast.
Oh, really?
But I did not come here early enough.
Wow, no.
Came here the moment we had to be at the show and no earlier.
That's usually how it goes. I was late, so.
Anyway, come by, quick pint, or eat a whole meal. All you got to do, look for the pristine white building.
There's one thing I like more than a meal. It's a whole meal.
The north side of the street on Queen Street East, 1042 Queen Street East. Thank you to Aveling, Beer of the Month, and for supporting Sportsfeld and for being our friends and neighbors.
God, this is so good.
If you want a brewery you like to be on the show, and we'll drink it and open it and slurp it into the microphone.
And probably talk about how good it is. Because it's really hard for me to be like,
at us.
Beer.
I've yet to have a beer on this show that I didn't like.
That's true, actually. Yeah, we're like 8 for 8. What are we?
Nailing it.
9 for 9?
I want to say 9 for 9.
9 for 9, I think.
Anyway, to the sports part of the Sportsfeld.
Huh.
That was some good feld.
That was some good feld. Time for sports.
We teased this, but we're going to start with the Raptors because...
I mean, how can you not?
Other than like this morning, they were pretty much the top story every day.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a lot going on today.
Yeah, I think that's...
And they will be tonight because they're going to play again tonight against the Portland Trailblazers. Anyway, since we last talked, I think Patrick McCaw had already been injured, and we had talked about somebody's going to have to step up.
Patrick McCaw.
Well, it got a lot worse, a lot faster. Kyle Lowry, I believe, broke his own thumb.
Yeah, it seems like he was swiping at the ball, and he I'm not sure if it's a full break or just
fractured the tip or something.
Yeah, something like
anyway,
that.
Serge Ibaka buckled his ankle.
Severely sprained was the Raptors PR, which is never a good combination of words.
I'm very interested to see if he goes to Portland or if he was just like, I'll stick around in LA. That'll be interesting because the initial report was he's going to leave the trip, right?
Right.
It was like he'll meet the team back in Toronto.
And Kyle's was he was seeing a specialist in LA.
Right. But Serge did fly from New Orleans to LA.
Yeah.
Listen, we love Serge. It doesn't matter. And then they beat the Lakers.
They did. And as we said,
the 7-1 Lakers at the time.
One of the most entertaining regular season basketball games you will ever see.
About as good as it gets.
Not even like the quality of basketball was pretty good.
Yeah.
But just from like narratively, and it was just so fun.
When we talked about what it would be like to cheer for a championship team.
That's it. That's exactly it.
And how do you get, after being so high, how do you find those moments that are that fun? And that was the one. Especially because championship DNA, as they would say.
The championship DNA also affects it because it makes them like I'm thinking about 2015 or 16, I forget, the game against the Cavs where Lowry hit the last second shot over Kyrie, and it was like the biggest deal because we beat the LeBron and the Cavs, and the building was like a playoff atmosphere in like January, and it was such a massive, massive thing, and that was super fun. And I'm not saying it's not. But now we have this game like Sunday night, and it's still super fun, but in a totally different way. Mm-hmm. Because now it's not like our identity and our team rests on these big regular season wins. Now it's like, we're dope. We're the champs. Fuck you.
Yes. A great game. About as fun as you can have.
Yeah. It's also fun to watch these guys like, I mean, some of them are hurt now.
Sure.
But to watch some of the young guys like quote unquote arrive. Like you saw, Pascal's been MVP candidate through the first 10 games this season, but it's one thing to do that against, the Knicks. I know we haven't played the Knicks, but you know what I mean. It's another thing to do that against Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and one of the teams that is supposed to be the number 1, number 2 title contender this year. And then, a guy like OG, of course, he got hurt the next day, but see him starting to take that step that we all hoped he would take, and then actually see him do it. And Terrence Davis and Chris Boucher. And it's very cool. It's very cool.
I was very impressed with some of the guys who weren't on last year's championship team playing like they were on last year's championship team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I thought, not to get ahead of ourselves in games too much, but Kawhi had a quote after the Clippers game where he was talking about the defensive pressure they threw at him and how they were always going for the ball. And he even said, like, last year we didn't play defense like that. And like the Raptors last year had a huge defensive identity. And the whole thing was like, wow, they can really lock guys down when they want to, which is true because you had Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green doing it. But it does seem like Nick Nurse has a system in mind and you either buy in or you don't play.
Right.
Which I think is how many Raptors teams have we watched over the years where it's like buy into the system, and if you don't,
What can we do?
Now it's like, no, you're not going to play. Like Stanley Johnson.
To skip ahead on some points, we love Nick Nurse, don't we, folks?
Really do. How can you not?
How can you not love 2019 Nick Nurse? McDonald's commercials, and every day he'll come in and say, yeah, fuck this. Just not playing well enough. I don't like that you're not playing well enough. And thus you will not play.
I think it helps that this isn't a team that necessarily has a, bona fide superstar, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think back to the difficult Vince Carter days. It was like, well, just bench him. And it's different when I think this is more of a unit.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that if you have to buy in or you don't. And Nurse seems like a guy who can get everyone to buy in.
And the great defensive scheming against Kawhi Leonard. Raptors lost that game by 10, but they were in it up until about the last 3 minutes. They
definitely looked like a team that had played 2 games back to back on the West Coast and were down 4 rotation players.
OG Anunoby, as you alluded to, poked in the eye by that very Kawhi Leonard. Sounded like it's a horrifying injury.
Yeah.
Eye contusion.
Eye contusion's
really gross. Apparently his contact broke in half.
Both of them fell out apparently when he got hit.
Gross.
So.
Gross. Not a contacts guy.
Yeah. Hopefully
for that very reason. Not like, oh, Kawhi might poke me in the eye, but like
I don't wear any corrective vision things, but if I did, I would not wear contacts because they freak me out.
Yeah. So I ask you this. We saw some big performances from a lot of people at the bottom of the rotation. Well, not the bottom, but lower half. We'll
yes.
Anybody who full healthy is lower than Norman Powell. Well, Norm will be the cutoff.
I think that makes sense.
He's like the 7th man. We know what Norm is.
Yeah. When everyone's, I agree with you. Yeah.
8 down. We saw some.
The Powell line.
Yes. We saw about 17 minutes a game from Terrence Davis in relief with Kyle Lowry out. So Rondae Hollis-Jefferson basically get the Kawhi assignment with OG out.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Chris Boucher like NBA Jam. Like he was unbelievable in 2 games. Pretty sure he played 20 plus minutes in both games. Like he played 24 against the Lakers and he played 22 against the Clippers.
He was quite good.
Averaging 14 points.
He was quite good against the Lakers.
Some big blocks. And Matt Thomas, catch and shoot threes. If he's open, he'll make it.
Yeah, we were kind of saying before we started recording, Matt Thomas, I'm going to admit, surprised me.
Sure.
I definitely thought, despite all of our
question marks,
our let's say Twitter love for Matt Thomas in the offseason, I was definitely expecting him to not quite live up to it, but he really is that guy where if he's open, that it's going in.
Count it.
He can't play defense, which you don't really need him to, I think, with his positions, but
all you need him to do is not leave somebody wide open when he's not covering them.
Yeah.
When they're off the ball. Anyway.
But his shooting it's awesome.
Which of those players, if somebody else that I didn't mention, it probably isn't. I don't think anybody here is talking about Stanley Johnson in a positive light.
No. As we were saying, he seems to be the guy who's not
Which of those guys impressed you most over the 2 games?
I mean, I think the easy answer is Terrence Davis, but he's kind of been impressing all year. So I think I'm going to say Chris Boucher.
Very nice.
Because
it's G League MVP Chris Boucher.
I've been pretty low on Chris Boucher as an NBA pro. I thought he was kind of a guy who had all the raw ability, but didn't quite have the ability to put it together. But he seems to, I don't know if it's the coaching or the system or what it is, but his semi-organized chaos seems to work for this team. I'm not convinced he is I don't think you want to be throwing Chris Boucher out into big minutes that often, but I think that his ability to just cause havoc wherever he is, whether it's ill-advised potentially threes or his interior defense or his ability to run the floor, it's just he's like Siakam in the sense that he's very unpredictable. Like Pascal's big thing that everyone talks about is his speed and his motor and the fact that he can throw out that spin move at any time or he can shoot a 3, and he's just a very unpredictable player, which suits him very well. And I'm absolutely not saying Boucher is on Siakam's level or anywhere close.
He's not.
But he has that sort of, I don't know what you're going to do right now. He has like a bit of JaVale McGee in him, I think, which makes sense that they were kind of guarding each other.
Yeah. Well said. I think it's a fair choice. I think Boucher is a very fair choice there.
And I genuinely have no idea how good he is.
Right.
Or not. Or bad. I have no idea.
I think, obviously, as you said, 20 minutes is a little much.
Yeah.
But I think he's earned, when Serge is back, maybe 10 to 15.
I think what's encouraging to me about
backup power forward minutes. Maybe?
Yeah, I think what's encouraging to me about these, for not so much Matt Thomas, because Matt Thomas is going to play the Matt Thomas role regardless. Like, he knows his role is to come in and hit a couple threes and sit down.
Yeah, he'll play 6 minutes if he doesn't hit them, and he'll play 11 if he does.
Exactly. But I think the other three guys, what's really encouraging to me is not so much on the West Coast against the LA teams and Portland, but when we have those stretches when it's like Charlotte, Knicks, Orlando, whomever, sort of maybe not Orlando, but the bottom teams in the East, it's encouraging to me that to see these guys have the ability to be on the NBA floor. So it's kind of, we were saying last week, it's not necessarily 38 minutes of Kyle and 38 minutes of Serge. Like, seeing these guys able to play NBA minutes and play them well against good teams encouraged me to the fact that I definitely don't think it's like the depth we saw in 2017, but it's nice that there's more depth than I thought there was a week ago.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think we all sort of, when those injuries came down, we were like, oh, this is trouble because the depth is the one problem.
I thought they were going to get blown out of the building. I guess same building twice.
Yeah, especially the Clippers. I thought the Clippers were going to but man, they had it. They were ready for Kawhi Leonard. Holy moly.
Nick Nurse, man.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson will be my pick for who I was most impressed with.
He was great. Well, I mean, like, who thought he could do anything?
We were pretty sure we were aware of his ceiling, but and the question for him most of the early part of the season was, is he ready to step in if they need him? And he was called on, and he was like, all right, I guess I'm guarding LeBron and Kawhi back-to-back nights. And he was there.
Yeah.
And I guess part of it, the beauty of having Kawhi the year before, was Rondé Hollis Jefferson was one of the best like Kawhi guarders. When he was in Brooklyn the year before, he was one of the best Kawhi defenders we saw all of last year.
Yeah, I mean, like,
good memory from Nick Nurse. That would have been OG.
Yeah,
had he not got
for sure. But like Rondé's whole thing is that there's a lot. The Raptors have a lot of those guys who play insane defense but can also score.
Yeah, he cannot
finish at the rim.
And he
has a lot of those shots. It's from like
the post fadeaway against the Lakers that went in the last minute.
He has a lot of those like NBA 2K, you fucked up the input shots
yes.
where like you're driving and then he just kind of stops 2 feet from the basket and puts up a little hook shot.
Well said.
But
it's perfectly articulated.
Yeah, that's what he reminded me of. I was like, oh, I do that in video games. I see.
But encouraging signs. I think this ended up being like, I know we were all sort of salivating at like full-powered Raptors against full-powered Lakers and see what that looked like. But to then do it without the guys is almost more impressive.
These games certainly have not cooled the Raptors are one guy away from being a title contender.
Looking like a final. Looking like the NBA finalists. I'll say that much.
Right?
I don't know. I'm just shrugging. People with America were saying, let's look at a finals preview.
It could be.
Lakers Clippers.
It very well could be.
Pardon me, Lakers Clippers. Raptors Clippers. Anyway, anything else the Raptors you'd like to get out before they play Portland tonight?
I'm worried about how much Marc Gasol has to play with Serge out.
Yes.
He's definitely getting better than he was the first couple weeks of the season. But his whole thing was he's played so much basketball in the last few months.
Yeah, my guy's looking tired.
Yeah.
Just looking tired.
I'm a little concerned. I wouldn't mind them signing like an Eric Moreland type. Just to take, I know Boucher is kind of playing that role, which is fine. But I wouldn't mind just another guy, because I also don't really want Chris Boucher playing 26, 27 minutes a game.
Right. While we're here, I want to get on this, like, it was like, should the Raptors sign Jamal Crawford, some sort of thing?
Really?
Or one of the Crawfords.
Okay.
No, they should not.
No. The answer is no.
Don't need an offense guy who doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
If they're going to get a wing guy, he's got to be able to play defense.
The one thing I will say that is not really a comment on the Raptors.
I want a 3 and D guy, not a 3 guy.
Yes.
Already have that in Matt Thomas. You're not going to sign a better shooter.
I have 2 thoughts on exactly that. Watching Lakers and Clippers back to back, my first thought on Sunday night was the whole, obviously, the whole narrative going into the season was, boy, this team would be really good if they had kept Kawhi. If they had re-signed Danny Green and Kawhi had still left, this team would be incredible.
Danny Green, big over on Sunday, by the way.
Yes, that's true. Well, around the Raptors. It's what he does in the big games to them.
They were like, hey,
don't forget. I'm kidding. I'm talking about how good he is.
Don't forget Danny can't dribble. Right.
But he is exactly the player that this team needs. The other thing I'll say is Kawhi hit one of those, like, I'm going to dribble around from it and then just fade away from 8 feet.
Yes.
Missed that shot.
Yeah, the free throw line pull up.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing you can do about it.
No.
Hope he misses. That's about it.
He did one in like the third quarter and hit it. And I was like, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's that shot you're not supposed to take, though.
Yeah. Unless you're Kawhi Leonard.
DeMar DeRozan.
That's a DeMar DeRozan. Everyone screams.
Free throw pull up.
When Kawhi does it, it's like, it's fine.
As long as you hit it. It's all good.
Man, I miss watching Kawhi again.
Yeah, man, he's really,
I
really
miss
good.
it more than I thought I was going to.
It turned him into, this is a compliment with damning, whatever it is, damning praise.
Damning with faint praise.
There it is. They turned him into Giannis a little bit. You notice that? Where they had like, he drives and all of a sudden he has to kick it out every time.
Yep.
9 turnovers, 9 assists. But I was like, that's how they played Giannis in the East Final.
100%.
Anyway.
Also, Chris Middleton's out for 6 weeks and the Bucks are fucked.
Yikes. Hate to see it. That's that on that. Much, much, much more happened in sports. Don Cherry got fired, finally. TFC and the Maple Leafs. All of that coming up after this. Well, this is pretty simple. Don Cherry got fired.
Hooray.
Yeah.
It only took them 25 years.
25 years of nonstop
of racism.
Yeah.
They finally found a racism that was too much of a racism.
Yeah. And we talked about this, but we don't have a ton to say about this other than thank God.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think if you're listening to this show, you're expecting us to be like, he shouldn't have been fired. Like,
right. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing for me. And this is the point that I think a lot of the yellow vests that are arguing about this are missing, right? If I said to you today, say you didn't know, say you didn't watch the clip.
Yes.
And I said to you, Don Cherry got fired for saying something vaguely racist on Coach's Corner. You wouldn't need more information than that.
I will admit, I didn't see the clip. I don't watch Coach's Corner.
Of course
I
not.
change the channel every fucking time. I also had better things to do on a Saturday night than watch the Maple Leafs.
Right.
But like, I didn't see the clip. I went on Twitter at like 10:30.
Your reaction would not be,
and people were mad about Don Cherry. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
So that's what kind of blew my mind about this whole thing. Like, yeah, obviously the thing he said was horrendously racist and like, fuck him. But like,
that's his shtick.
It I don't know. To me, it didn't seem any worse than anything he's ever said before. Like, I don't totally get, maybe was it because it was around Poppies and Remembrance Day? But like, he's been not even a subtle racist for 2 decades.
Yeah, this is the thing, right? I have watched Coach's Corner before.
Yeah.
Him saying, and Steve had a good point about this, and many other people had a good point about this. It's like, if European immigrants come over and they had to hear that Europeans are soft.
Exactly.
For a year.
Exactly.
Like, it's absurd.
I don't like to repeat myself on Twitter, but like, I had a tweet of a quote from 2002 from him when he was talking about Russians. And I'm going to get this wrong, but it was something like, I told you all about the Russians, but you in Canada, you guys love your multiculturalism, so you didn't listen to me.
Yes.
And that's so racist.
The thing is, before I had friends who weren't just white dudes. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
There was a time in my life. I grew up in a small town.
100%.
I only knew white dudes, really. I was guilty of sort of being like, Don Cherry is mostly harmless, right?
I think.
And then you meet people who love hockey. People like our friend Arun, who loves hockey and who has always been like, man, I fucking hate this guy.
And being told like, it's not for you.
Right. And I'm always just like, yeah, but he's just like an old man on television. And then you realize like, no, people are legitimately feeling alienated from this because of this.
So I've had that thought a lot about he's just a harmless old man. Cause that was the argument since, I don't know, that comment from 2002, I think was around.
Cause he's never going to say, white guys from the middle of Ontario who don't try hard are a problem.
But I think like that 2002 comment was during the Olympics. And I remember in 2010, I want to say was when the Swedes and Europeans are soft controversy happened. Right. Which like wasn't that fucking long ago.
For sure.
The thing that
he was only 76 then though.
Right. And that's it. Like,
he's 85-year-old man on television has no.
Cathal Kelly's fucking
unbelievable
times changed, Cherry didn't argument doesn't work when he hasn't
But like also
but also like correct me if I'm wrong. But like before quote unquote cancel culture, I'm pretty sure in 2010 everyone was like racism is bad.
Yeah.
That's not a new idea. And then obviously he goes on fucking Tucker Carlson immediately to prove that he's not a racist by going on the Nazi hour. But like the thing that I've been thinking about a lot that you sort of touched on about the idea that he's a harmless old man, I think that we, including literally us, and also we as the larger white sports media or sports fan community have propped that idea up.
Yes.
You think about the...
Complicit.
Yes. You think about like the fucking parody account of Don Cherry's voice. You think about the piano desk. You think about the stupid shit we used to do on Backhand Shelf when we get John Noon to read tweets in Don Cherry's voice. It's all around this idea that there's something funny about him and his shtick when it's not funny. It's racist.
Yes.
And just because he's been around forever and his voice is kind of loud and irritating, it's no different than Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity or the president. Like it's all the same. And like maybe that's the awakening that we elected, or not we, but America elected Don Cherry as president. And then
part of it.
You hear it every day. It's like, oh, this sucks ass.
Right.
But like that, we have been guilty of, I don't want to say normalizing because it's never been accepted as being okay. So normalizing is wrong, but just complicit, complicit and being like, it's fine.
We're Ron McClain's.
Yes, exactly. We're Ron McClain's.
And then 100%. And then it comes up like, oh, this could really be serious. Then you go, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Also, Ron McClain's apology was horseshit. He was sitting there nodding along like a fucking moron.
85-year-old people don't need to be on television.
No.
Full stop.
Or vote.
I mean,
if there's a legal voting age for youth, there should be one for age.
I mean,
if you can't vote under 18, you shouldn't be able to vote over 65.
65, wow.
My parents were too old to vote, and they have good ideas.
Wow.
But, well,
listen,
where would you put it?
I was thinking like 75.
75? Okay, that's fine too.
Because then, this is so bad. But over 75, you got to be like, all right, 4 years from now, I don't even know. Right?
Right. Yeah.
65, you can be like, all right, 4 years from now, I plan to be alive still.
You're right. 65 is maybe like, that should have been the rule in the 50s, but now, yeah.
Right. That's the other thing is like, when Don Cherry was younger, like, there was no 85-year-old people on TV because like, no one was 85.
Yeah.
You're 85, you're ancient. Anyway, what else? Not really much else to say.
No.
My only other point is this stupid like outcry that like, we're missing something with him being gone. Like, what's the last good hockey insight you can remember gleaning from a Don Cherry segment?
Genuinely, nothing.
Probably never in your life.
Never in my life.
Him kissing Doug Gilmour. That's the only thing.
Him, I don't know, when I was like 8, Rock'em Sock'em, whatever the fuck was kind of fun.
When you had a child's brain.
When I was like, oh, that didn't cause that person to have a concussion that led to suicide.
Anyway, that's my other thing is like, it's a hockey segment on the hockey show. And he's not been a good hockey analyst in as long as I can remember.
No. Not that being a good hockey analyst is a barometer for being on TV, but you're right.
You would hope that he would talk about hockey in a way that like added something, but he hasn't in years.
It's also just like
10, 20 years.
He is so, to your point about the alienation that he causes people of color or women watching.
Anyone but us, basically.
Yes. He is so personified and emblematic of the problems with hockey culture.
Right.
Anytime anyone says, I don't like hockey culture, they're not talking about just Don Cherry, but they're talking about Don Cherry.
Anyway.
And so what are we losing? We're losing something bad.
Stupid old asshole.
Like it's good.
Yeah.
It's good he's gone. Fuck him. Cancel the whole fucking show.
Don't let the door hit your ass. All right.
Can't wait for it to be Brian Burke or PJ Stock fucking.
I guess we could talk about, I think it comes up in the mailbag about what you would do with that segment.
Definitely not what they're going to do with it. Put it that way.
They're just going to do more panel for now, I think. I think they're going to do more panel.
At least for a couple weeks. And then it'll be
You can't just immediately have Brian Burke there.
Well.
That's next year. Next year,
yeah,
fair.
You
can't immediately like, oh, here's a new coach's corner. He wasn't a coach.
That's fair.
Let's just move on because I don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
We got TFC and the Buds. We'll start with TFC.
Sorry. I do like that your notes in our rundown.
Yeah.
It's 2 bullet points. One says 85-year-old asshole fired and the other one is LOL.
Well, tell me that wasn't what our segment was just
You're
now.
right, but like it's just funny to see on paper. Anyway.
We moved to TFC. Seattle won the MLS Cup in Seattle.
Yes.
The rubber match, the 2 of 3 falls. 3-1?
Yes. Which I believe is what I predicted.
Something like that. Jake, your experience watching this game?
Frustrating.
Yeah.
It's definitely a game they could and probably should have won.
Because they had the possession numbers.
At least for the first 60 minutes. They definitely seemed like once Seattle got the first goal, everything sort of went out the window.
That first goal sucked.
I think that like they went from were controlling possession, like they had 65% possession in the first half. They started the first 10 minutes of the second half seeming to continue that. It felt very much like 2016 all over again of just like control. They got caught on the counter a few times, but Westberg made one good save and the rest turned out to kind of just fizzle. Yeah, it was frustrating. That first goal really seemed to take the wind out of their sails. I was watching with friend of the show, Chris Lund, and we were kind of saying how, especially when they were down 2-0, there didn't seem to be, like before the third goal got scored, so in like the 81st, there didn't seem to be a lot of urgency from Toronto FC. And you could see that very well from the third goal where Chris Wavinga just decided to...
Man, he got bullied on that goal.
Yeah. It was, but like emblematic of their...
Right.
Not lack of urgency because he tried to hold the man up rather than running to play the ball, which I think is a good metaphor for kind of how the last half hour of that game went. Michael Bradley playing for $6.5 million.
Uh-oh.
Team's down 2-0. They're pressing in the attacking zone. Michael Bradley was out of the frame.
Yikes.
I know someone has to stay back.
Right.
Why is it your like highest paid player?
You got to run around yelling. That's what he does. He runs in circles and he yells. Yeah. From what I can glean.
Yeah, that's not wrong.
That's not.
It's not wrong. It's absolutely not incorrect.
Too bad.
Yeah, it was frustrating in the sense that they very quickly went from a team. The game very much went from like, this is who we've been watching for the last couple months. They could do this to, oh yeah, they're very lucky to be in this game at all.
Right. I think to your greater point about the 2-0, that did sort of seem to be like, they were like, oh, it's finally happened.
Yeah.
It caught up with us. And then they were like, well, we had a good run.
Yeah. Like everyone.
At like the 70th minute mark.
Yeah. Other than Quentin Westberg and I don't know, a couple of the other guys, Marco Delgado was okay. There just seemed to be a lack of give a shit.
Right.
Which I don't think is true because I don't think they're a team that like, I don't think we were seeing the current Toronto Maple Leafs, so to speak.
Right.
But the lack of urgency did seem apparent.
Josie Altidore came in as a sub.
Yes.
And did score.
Yes.
92nd minute. But still, do you think things would have been drastically different, A, in the whole run, and B, in the game had he been ready the entire time? Is there a way to even say maybe they don't even make it to the final if he's playing the whole way?
I think there is. I do think his absence opened things up a bit for Pozuelo to sort of, extend his creativity. Mm-hmm. At the same time, you play your best players.
Right.
And it also adds that giant target in the box. And Josie's proven time and time again that he shows up and scores in big games. So I don't know about the run. Did I have questions after the game as to whether he could and should have started? Yes.
Right.
I don't know enough about his health to know if he could have played a full 90. He certainly looked like he could have played a full 90.
Feels like if he could have, he would have pushed for that.
Yeah, I think so. He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who would be like fine with sitting out if he could play.
And if he only has half a game, he may as well have the back half.
Yeah, I think the fact he came on at all is, although I guess it could take a miracle quotes could have been gamesmanship. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time. Josie being on or off the field is not why they lost. Okay. That's what I would say.
Okay. And in the off-season outlook, it seems like you want Michael Bradley out. Seems like Bradley out is the hashtag here.
I'm okay with Michael Bradley coming back if they can get him at a bigger discount than he's likely to take.
That seems like you. It's a very Blue Jay way of saying that. I am
very fine with Michael Bradley leaving and them using the money they pay Michael Bradley to pay a better player. Put it that way.
Okay.
I think that I think it's funny. Sean and I were kind of talking last week about Michael Bradley, and Sean was saying how he's ready for Michael to be done, despite the fact that he's brought the most success the team has ever seen. And like they've been in the finals 3 or 4 years, which is wild.
Yeah.
After having nothing for a decade.
Been the most consistently successful Eastern Conference team in the last 5 years.
But Michael also clearly doesn't really give a shit anymore. And if you can get a guy like Michael Bradley for $1 million, sure.
You can't though.
But you can't. And I would rather him go to get overpaid by Chicago or somebody, and you take that money that he that he's leaving on the table and bring in another Pozuelo or who, not that exact player, but you know what I mean?
I get you.
That money could be better spent elsewhere is what I would say.
Any other weaknesses you'd like to address?
I don't know. They're pretty good. I generally don't have the tactical knowledge to know.
Sure.
I would definitely like us to be in a position where Tsubasa Endo doesn't have to play every game. But I think you can take Michael's money and add 2 guys, and there's no reason they can't make the finals again next year.
There you go.
Not playing CONCACAF is nice.
Yes.
Give them some fucking rents.
Now, anyway, not even worth getting into.
Okay.
What the qualification process is for the...
They didn't make it. They have to win the Canadian Championship. They lost to Montreal in the final.
Making the final doesn't get them in.
It does if you're an American team. Huh. So Seattle would have been in regardless. But
much to think about.
Winning the final also doesn't get you in.
What?
If you're a Canadian team.
Champions League.
If you're a Canadian team.
Champion.
Yes, correct. It's stupid.
Anyway, okay. Now I've learned about CONCACAF.
It's dumb. I think it's because they need enough teams with Mexico, but I don't know why they decide that only one Canadian team gets in.
You don't hear a lot of positive buzz about CONCACAF.
No, they're very broken and do everything wrong.
Quickly on the Maple Leafs, Mitch Marner fucked his ankle up pretty bad.
That looked really painful.
That was the worst thing I saw all weekend, I think.
Yeah. Do they have a timetable for him?
Reevaluated in 4 weeks, which means usually probably 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You're looking at Christmas.
That's not great. Hyman's back, though. Maybe.
So there you go. Not good. Not what you want.
No, but, I mean...
Maple Leafs get a Maple Leaf.
They have enough talent that they'll be fine.
It's frustrating to watch the Maple Leafs and Raptors in the same night.
It really is.
And the Raptors, without 3 of their best players, beat the Lakers. And you're just like, well, I guess they're going to struggle against the Blackhawks.
It's almost like...
Cool.
It's almost like...
2 different sports.
It's almost like the coach is the issue.
Anyway, that brings me to my question before we move on. Can you talk yourself into this talking point?
Okay.
Because I've heard this bandied about in the last week because they, as you said, they won some games last week and it was like,
They did. They almost won 4 in a row.
Can you talk yourself into the way they are playing lately, which is boring, low event hockey, and narrowly scraping by against bad teams and or losing to bad teams, but always being a 1 goal one way or the other?
Yeah.
Can you talk yourself into that being partially being done by design, or are people who believing that, are they marks getting worked into believing this team is better than they actually are?
What is the design? What is the design there?
Babcock is getting them into tight games on purpose because that's what the playoffs are like. If you're not going to win 7-1, 5-1.
I mean, that seems insane. That seems like way too much control over a game that's as chaotic as hockey.
Okay, so it's marked getting worked.
Yeah, although it also kind of sounds like a thing that Mike Babcock would believe.
He called those games beautiful. He said it was great that they were getting tested like that.
I don't think they're necessarily doing it on purpose because I think that's impossible to control.
Well, it's somebody like Tyson Barrie is how you control that, right? Where you say, we need you to not be spin moves and cross ice shit. We need you to be back.
I guess that sounds insane to me, though.
I'm just asking.
I don't believe it. Yes, I understand why people do.
Okay. Mark's getting worked.
Yeah, a little bit. I think they might just be poorly coached and disorganized and they don't give a shit. That seems more logical to me than
right.
Than
so,
the other.
so then the sort of like, are they that talented? Or are we just sort of like?
No, I think that's the issue. I think they're playing below their talent.
Not intentionally. Though.
No, not intentionally.
That's the question.
I don't think it's intentional because I think that's fucking crazy. I can't imagine what professional athlete would be okay with that.
Well,
what professional athlete is like, yeah, I want to be worse than I am. That's contrary to everything we know about
You're
them.
playing a style, though. Not that he's going out there and saying be worse, but he's saying, we don't need to blow the doors off in the first 2 periods. We need to win the 3rd period because it's a close game. That's what playoff hockey is like.
That's
in this idea. Not that he's saying don't score.
No. I get it. I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
Because I think if that is the case, that's even more reason why he should be fired because that's insane.
Okay.
They don't need more. They've played in 2 Game 7s in 2 years. They don't need more knowledge of what the playoffs are like. They just need to win those games. And you win with those games by being better.
Okay. Point taken.
What do you think?
I think it's close to the middle. I think we might it's a very talented league, as I try to say as often as I possibly can. Like,
sure.
Even the teams that aren't like the Canucks are a great example. Like the difference between a great NHL team and a bad NHL team is not as great as we may believe at some points, right? The Canucks were like a very bad team last year, and this year like 2 things are different, and they're very good.
Yeah, so I think that's fair.
So I think those margins are really thin, and I think Maple Leafs are undoubtedly talented, but I don't think they're so much more talented than even the Blackhawks.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, I do think you're right. And
it's a razor thin.
The
line.
NHL loves that parity. And
absolutely.
They have done I don't know if good is the right word. They've done the correct job to make it a parity league.
And I think there is a little bit of like, also the team's very new. Most of the team is very new, and we have to remember that.
Yeah.
Look, they're playing a weird style.
I'm still not worried about them. They are playing weird style for sure. I'm still not concerned because I don't think any of this really matters.
Right.
They're also like 5th in the conference right now and 2nd in the division. So
there you go. Whew. That's it. That's sports.
That's the other thing that's funny about them. Not to keep harping on it.
No.
Everyone's freaking out. They're like 3 points back from being the best team in the conference.
I know. Just the way it is. That's Maple Leafs hockey.
Yeah.
Not much else. Sports, the Houston Astros continue to fuck the Houston Astros.
Yeah. Fuck them.
Clearly cheating.
Fuck them forever.
We all knew that already. That is it for me for sports.
Yeah, me too.
What else could we possibly have opinions on?
It's my sports for the week.
Yeah, that is sports. Coming up.
Not sports.
Not sports. Songs, matches, freaky things. And then the mailbag after this. Crank it up. All right. Song of the week, match of the week. Does this freak you out? And then the mailbag is on the way. Jake, song of the week.
My song of the week is a song called A Pillar of Salt by a band called The Thermals. They broke up a couple years back. The album this song is from, I believe, 2008. It was a 2007, 2006, sometime around there. Sometime in the 2000s. It was a big deal-ish in certain circles when it came out. Thermals kicked ass. Yeah, I don't know. That's all. I've been listening to Thermals a lot this week.
For more Jake talking about music every Monday, you can catch Columbia's
House Party.
Good episode on MCR.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
And as we talked about in this week's episode, I did not care for MCR really.
That's right. That's right. This coming Monday.
Yes.
If you want to hear some Sportsfeldian crossover.
Yeah.
Our first guest. Who else could it be but Zubes?
I hope I come off smart. I can't remember.
I think you did. I remember really enjoying that episode.
Yeah, it was fun. MCR also a fun episode, and I think I figured out what was going on with our difference when we got the years, right? Because Black Parade came out in 2006.
Yes.
Yeah, I was 21, so it was like it wasn't.
Yeah, but I mean, Court Trick came out in 2005.
Right.
You're 20.
But it's different styles, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
At 21, I was like, all right, like.
Yeah, because in 2000,
it's a little dramatic.
2006, I was 18.
Correct.
So, yeah.
You understand, hearing
17 when it came out.
Hearing Blake's points, he made some great points as he always does.
Of course.
All the MCR songs that I do like are on 3 Cheers, which came out 2004.
Yes.
I was 19.
Right.
And
as
he said, 31 and 33 are not a big deal. 19 and 21 is a huge difference.
And we talk about that a lot on the show, especially because the height of that genre, so to speak, is like 2002 to 2006.
Right.
You can kind of gauge how old people are by which of those albums are their favorites.
For sure. The ones when I was in high school, much better.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was talking I listened to it with Melissa, and it was sort of just like, we're just like, damn, I don't remember any of this impact. I'm like, I was 21. I was old, like Lloyd Banks.
Melissa must have been it's the Queen examples. Melissa was like,
100%.
I'm in.
100%.
Yeah. Examples, comparisons.
A great episode. A fun show. It makes me just binge text about music to people.
That's so fun because you hate music.
It's not that I hate music. It's not that I hate. This is part of the.
You've just given up on music.
This is part of the thing that I had to like break through when I came on the show was like, it's not that I am completely ignorant to the entire history of music. Right? I listened to music for 29 years.
You just stopped and
I was like, I don't need.
2000. What was it? When you asked me to make that?
2015.
Yeah, 2015. That's right. And you're like, nah, I don't need to do this.
I just don't need to do it. Yeah, I don't need more. I don't need new.
Right.
There's a whole 30 years.
You have all of music up to 2015.
100%.
That's all you need.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I do not know anything about music after 2015. That is true.
That's fair.
You remember, I was listening to like Front Bottoms or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
That exists to me. It doesn't. I didn't erase all of that. So we were at a party the other week and people were like, this guy only knows 2 albums. I was like, I know many albums.
Just don't know any.
Just none of the new ones. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
And from what I've heard, none of them have been good. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Puff's Morbid Stuff. It's the only good album I've heard.
Album you like.
3-4 years. It's a good album.
It is a good album. No one's saying it's not a good album.
I can still listen to Never Meant by American Football whenever I have to.
Yeah.
Right.
You just turn on that guitar riff and.
It did make me think about other albums that I could come on and talk about, which I won't because you obviously can find better guests than me. Like there are other albums I could go through that I'd be like, I could speak about that.
There were 3 or 4 that when we were like bandying what album should we do with Zubes. There was like
I could do Tell All Your Friends.
Yeah.
I still have a Taking My Sunday t-shirt.
Yeah, there was a couple. I mean, we're not going to do brand new, but we could do that.
Yeah, and I could have done. There's a couple Bright Eyes albums I could have done. Yeah. I spent like 2 years where all I did was listen to Bright Eyes.
Blake and I
think we all did.
Blake had a great comment from me the other day when we were planning an episode, which is not a Bright Eyes episode. But he was like, yeah, I want to talk about how everyone, like how I was saying in the MCR episode that I was sort of a closeted emo kid. And Blake was like, yeah, everyone now is willing to talk about how much they liked certain emo bands.
Right.
No one's willing to talk about how much they all fucked with Bright Eyes.
I love.
Because we all did. We all did.
Boy, oh boy. And I think there's like, this is going to be a lot of talk about Conor Oberst, but he sort of has these phases.
Yeah.
I need like, clearly wrote this when he was drunk on whiskey and is like screaming and like that's my.
You need like Lifted or the
yes. I need like
Fevers and Mirrors.
I need like a perfect sonnet. I need like It's Cool We Can Still Be Friends. That's what I need. And we're like, this dude's not well.
Calendar hung itself. Just
yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't need like folksy like everything's fine.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
His the big folk one never did a lot for me.
Yeah.
I like when I saw him on the Digital Ash tour and he was chugging a bottle of Jack and singing about how he's not going to drink anymore.
Yeah, like I'm worried about this dude. That's to me that's Conor.
He was like literally singing the lyric, "I'm going to try quitting drinking again" as he chugs whiskey. It's like, okay, perfect.
I listen to Sufjan Stevens a lot too.
Yeah, I could see that.
Not as proud as that one.
I could see that.
He played every instrument.
Age of Odds is a great record.
Including that weird like flute thing.
One day
he went to way too much.
One day in Columbia House Party, I'm going to drop my take that Age of Odds is the best
better than
record.
I'm an Illinois guy. I think everybody is.
Everyone except me and Cassie, I think.
Anyway, match of the week. I'm talking about NWA Power this week.
Ooh,
this is the Billy Corgan one.
Yes,
they've done something incredible.
It's so excited whenever Billy Corgan comes up.
Yeah, and the NWA president Billy Corgan thing was almost sort of a joke off the top, the beginning, but he has done something very smart, and it's a YouTube show. The show is only on YouTube, and it is intentionally completely different than everything else that's out there right now. It looks like it's filmed in 1982.
What?
It's amazing. They have all the old graphics. It's filmed in like a very, if you remember sort of the way old wrestling was filmed, where like it's like from the side. The curtain, the apron takes up like the bottom third of the thing, and it's a studio. It's studio wrestling where it's in like a television studio. So the ring is like in the middle, and then the interview area, which you would have seen any old wrestling clip. The interview is the little desk right by the wrestling ring.
Right. Yeah.
It's all of that stuff.
So Billy Corgan's like basically saying, I want my wrestling league to look like wrestling I watched as a child.
It's the NWA, so it is technically the same wrestling company. He's done an excellent job of identifying, because you can't compete with WWE and AEW in these big grand scale things. Right. So what do? You be intentionally different. It doesn't look like crappy indie wrestling where you're like in a bingo hall and it's like all grainy and bad and dark. It's well lit. It's thought out. The wrestling matches themselves. Is there a crowd? There is a crowd. Very small studio audience crowd. They do tapings. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful little. We'll see what happens when the nostalgia wears off. We're into like 5 weeks in, and it's like it's still very.
Is the only thing right now that has going for it the nostalgia, or are the matches good?
The matches are probably the weakest part, but it's also still built like those old shows where it's mostly like the guy you're supposed to know against like just a dude that looks like they found him in the crowd. Like it's very much that as well, where it's like they. On the free show, they're not giving you these great matches. They're using it to build to a bigger thing.
Right, I see. Okay.
It's very interesting strategy. We'll see, how long they can get away with the matches not really being great, but it's been fun character work. Everything is unscripted in terms of like promo-wise, so these guys have to come up with their own ideas and their own things, and it's just another great alternative.
What was I saw you guys had one of your big wrestling nights.
Yeah, we had Full Gear.
What was that? Which was that?
That was AEW.
That's AEW.
I talked with Sean. You tell Sean wanted to talk about wrestling when I came. We talked about wrestling for like 15 minutes straight.
Yeah, I could tell when I walked in. So let's change the subject.
Well, no, we had done every match.
I'm kidding.
We had done every match. But yeah, no, it was wonderful.
It was good.
Some real hardcore wrestling.
Interesting.
It's like a bed. There was a board covered in mouse traps was used.
Ooh, I like that. See, so I think I touched on this when we talked about this last week, but like
creative hardcore wrestling.
As much as I really enjoy
broom covered in barbed wire.
I really enjoyed my experience watching a too long WrestleMania last year.
You and Werner Herzog.
Yeah, that's right. Who's never seen Jon Favreau's movies, even though he's working with them.
I mean, I relate to that.
But I want there to be a WrestleMania-esque thing for AEW that I can be like, I want to go. I'll go to a friend's to watch that. I'm not going to like watch it on my own.
Of course.
I'm intrigued.
Anyway, Full Gear was great as well. That's it for those two. Jake, it's your turn to ask me a question.
It is, I believe. Zubes.
Well, you could have defaulted because I made you do two.
No, I got it. I just get to pull it up on my phone.
A good job to all our fans, our wonderful audience. Good job for finding things during the week and asking us.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Almost always yes.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that most things freak us out. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's low. There we go. Okay, Zubes. Does this freak you out? A man has had a 12-centimeter long flesh-eating tapeworm removed from his head, which has been slowly eating his brain for the past 15 years.
And folks, he's the president.
Hey-o. Hey. Oh, new Daily Show out here. Wang Lei first started to feel numbness down his left side in 2007 and has since continued to suffer with frail health ever since. He has seen multiple specialists and was once treated for a malignant brain tumor as doctors tried to figure out the cause of his issues.
They didn't.
But the young man's condition continued to worsen and he started to suffer frequent seizures and blackouts. In 2018, doctors discovered, 11 years later, doctors discovered that a tapeworm was living in his brain, and they advised the patient to undergo a non-surgical treatment as the parasite was considered to be a risky area to operate on. Unfortunately, yes, it gets worse, the tapeworm continued to live in Mr. Wang's head, and he recently underwent an operation at the Guangdong Sanju Brain Hospital to remove it. Following the 2-hour procedure, medics removed a Sparganum mansoni parasite, commonly found in the intestines of cats and dogs, but rarely in people. The tapeworm was moving in his brain, and we had to remove all of it, otherwise the leftover part could grow again. It is not the only case.
No.
Our hospital has treated 4 patients this year. People should be careful when cooking frogs, snails, and snakes, which need to be cooked thoroughly. Also, do not drink water in the wild unless it has been boiled. Mr. Wang is now recovering from surgery.
Cook your snakes.
Cook your snakes and frogs.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, it sucks ass, right?
My man, 12 years. That's too long to live with a tapeworm in your head.
Eating his brain.
Here's the thing, right? He was diagnosed in 2018 with the brain worm.
I believe so, yes.
And then they waited a year to do surgery?
Yeah. No, he was diagnosed. Yes. Yeah, 2018.
That would be about as bad as it gets.
I feel like there's
when you've gone in and then they told you like, oh, worm eating your brain.
Especially after be like, oh, we thought it was a tumor. No, it's the worst thing you can have. And they're like, it's not that though.
I'm afraid it's quite literally brainworms.
Yeah. Like, imagine being told.
That's bad.
Imagine being told in 2007.
It's real bad.
That you had
one of the
most deadly things you can have. One of the most terrifying, I would say, I don't know if you call it a disease, but one of the most terrifying conditions a human being can have, a brain tumor.
Yeah.
And then being told it's not that, but we don't know what it is. And then being told it's a worm eating your brain.
A decade later.
Sucks ass, huh?
I don't like that.
No.
I don't like it at all.
No.
There is one measure of relief is that all the warnings, I was like, I'm not worried about that. I'm not making frogs, snails, or snakes very often.
No,
Nor am I drinking water in the woods.
I feel okay about the fact that it's probably not going to affect me.
Yeah, but horrifying to think of.
Just imagine.
Thinking of...
but now every time, if my arm's ever numb and they're like, we don't know what's wrong, I'm be like, check for a brainworm.
Literally brainworms.
No, I know. Literally look for a worm eating my brain. Because why would you ever check for that also?
Of course.
Like you can't, there's some diseases where you're like, wow, they should have checked for that.
I'm pretty amazed that the brain tumor scan didn't reveal the worm.
Right? It must have been tucked away or something.
Also amazing that like how
worms exist in our body and eat our body parts.
I think for me it's like brainworm in there for a decade.
Yeah.
But like the condition deteriorated obviously.
Yeah.
But not so much that he was like dead, right?
Yeah, I guess it was eating. Well, I mean, it's a worm. I guess it eats slowly.
Yeah. But like, it affected him, but he was like alive for another
severe seizures and everything.
Too bad.
Also, that
sucks.
We sort of touched on this once when we talked about how it's weird that birds can speak. Sure. Certain birds can speak.
Sure.
It's weird that there's just can be sentient things in our body that eat us if we do the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's not like a tumor. It's like a sentient being.
Yeah. It's like a living thing.
Yeah.
Whew.
Wow.
That freaks me out.
I kind of wish I'd brought something else in.
It freaks me out.
Freaked me out.
Okay. Let's read the mailbag if that's gross.
Yeah. Okay.
It's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Speaking of gross, here's a great first question by Ahmedo. What's more satisfying? A trapped wind relieving fart, or a stomach cleaning dump? First and foremost, Ack Meadow, just a wordsmith, just a poet.
Excellent.
A stomach clearing dump.
Stomach clearing dump, or a what?
A trapped wind relieving fart. I will say this. I'm going to go before you even weigh in. There is nothing better than a stomach cleaning dump. There's few feelings when you're like, I think I just lost 5 pounds. I live for that.
I'm currently debating on how personal I want to get here.
My raison d'etre. How much more personal? Yeah. I mean, I understand.
Here's my thing. When I'm in a situation where I can tell I am in the need for a stomach clearing dump, usually takes a couple dumps.
Wow.
Like, I'll have a dump and they'll be like, I'm done. And then be like, oh, no, I'm not. But you can feel the gas in your stomach.
Yeah.
And you just like let a fart rip and you feel so much better. I think I'm going fart. The dump is definitely more satisfying and also more what's the word I'm looking for? Not practical.
Sure.
But like
yeah, I know.
Effective, I guess. Then because like the fart, if you like, you're gonna have to dump eventually.
Right.
But I love a good fart that just clears things up.
Okay. Wait. Yeah, you know it. Tough one.
I'm torn. That's a really good question.
It's a great question.
It's a really good question.
It's beautifully worded.
I think I'm going fart, but like they're both excellent.
Okay. If you were a Toronto athlete, that's a good one. This is from Shanna Planner. If you were a Toronto athlete, would you be the lay low type or would you embrace the limelight?
Ooh,
OG or Surge is sort of the question here. I'd love to lie and say lay low, but I would absolutely be Marcus Stroman. Hate to say it.
I feel like there's got to be a happy medium, which I know is not the question.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's got to be a way to like I feel like Kyle does that pretty well.
Sure.
Like Kyle is beloved and like everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows what he looks like. So like if he goes places, I'm sure people recognize him, but he's also not like out flaunting it like a Surge would.
I think this city is better than it gets credit for at leaving those people alone.
I think so too.
You basically never, ever see them in like viral posts about what they're doing out and about. Ever.
No. The only time it ever happened was with Kawhi Watch.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're right. And I think to be in viral posts about where you are, you have to be a Stroman-esque where you're trying to, you want it to happen.
I think we do a fairly good job.
Like even when the Blue, like that Blue Jays team in 2015 was one of the most beloved sports teams the city's ever seen.
Right.
And no one was like bothering Jose.
Yeah.
Who was like the guy.
And like, those guys are findable if you really wanted to find them.
Yeah.
No way you would.
Or like it's Toronto. Austin Matthews isn't bothered.
Right.
Like
that's right. And also like, yeah, they're not like on the dance floor. You know what I mean?
Right.
At Croc Rock. They have,
they're
in very specific.
It's not the days of like Shane Corson.
You wouldn't like, that's my other point.
Joffrey Lupul.
You probably wouldn't know you were in the same place as them unless you were like
in
rich.
The same place.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. They don't like have a table, right? They
have
a whole section of the bar you don't even know about.
Yeah.
Anyway. A good question here. Because I sort of have a thing on this. What classic show are you most looking forward to watching again on Disney Plus? I'll say this. I'm probably going to go back on this because I'm sure
I need like a full, like there's so much.
Everything you can think of.
Yeah.
And I'll probably chain them out on this eventually, but for now, don't really have any, I don't really have the urge to get it at all.
Same, you know?
And here's the thing, and we'll get on to, maybe
I'm curious to watch, I'm curious to watch the Star Wars show.
Yes, that's,
but like,
yeah. I couldn't agree
But that's
more.
new. That's not a classic.
Couldn't agree more. I am 100% more interested in what original content may come than watching things I've already
I'm
seen.
interested in like some of the Marvel shows that are coming up.
I feel like this is one of those things where like
I already have so much to watch.
Where day one you're like, oh, I'm going to watch like old Ninja Turtles cartoon, and you watch it for like 4 minutes. Like you watch like 2 episodes, and like, that's great. You're not going to continue watching 100%. Like you're not
the only one I could see myself doing a full like watch of, other than like The Simpsons, which doesn't count because it's The Simpsons, is the X-Men cartoon.
But I already watch Simpsons all the time.
Exactly. No, but that's what I mean. But to me, the X-Men cartoon isn't something you can just pull up. Like The Simpsons you can pull up anywhere. It's on Much Music for 4 hours a fucking day.
Right.
But even that, like I'm not going to watch 5 seasons of it, am I?
I doubt it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There's nothing. I'm far more interested in what potentially could come of it than what is like being brought back.
To your point, I already have so many things to watch.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to watch Old Boy Meets World. I'm just not going to do that.
I feel like also
not that those shows aren't good.
No, but it does speak to this idea that like we need this old nostalgia back, and that's just what nostalgia is.
Right.
But like none of it's as good as you remember.
And yes, I sort of get the same vibe as I do when they'll sell like a retro Sega Genesis, right?
Right.
And you're like, oh, that's so cool. And then you're like, I could have downloaded
every single
a Genesis mod thing from my computer anytime in the last 10 years.
I have one on my phone.
Right. And you probably don't use it that much.
Never.
And like,
but I have it.
All this old stuff, all these old Disney movies, all this stuff, you could have watched them at any point in the last.
Yeah.
You could have downloaded them in a minute.
Even the new stuff.
Correct. So like, I'm sure, again, as I said, I'm sure eventually it'll come to a point where like, oh, I guess I have to get it.
For sure. And I get it in like the cultural zeitgeist here that it's all in one place.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, cool, we can all browse it and watch it. I get it. But also like, yeah.
I don't know that I need to watch like Star Wars Episode 4 right now.
Right.
Seen it a lot of times.
How often do I feel like watching
Seen it a lot of times.
How often do I feel like watching Attack of the Clones today?
Yeah.
Never, because it's bad.
Maybe it'll come to you eventually, but I just I just think I don't know, all this and to a greater point, all this like conglomeration and all this like Disney owns every single thing.
Yeah.
It's a little depressing.
Sprint and AT&T, I think, are merging or something like that.
It's
gonna be one. All those jokes, but like the future, there's one company. It's happening.
I also just saw the BoJack episode about all this, so
me too.
I was like, yeah,
it was a very good point though.
Well, and the other point is like, well,
what are you gonna do?
That's what we live in. Anyway, not to get too depressed. Omega versus Moxley, did that freak me out? No, it did not. Who's gonna win the Grey Cup? I can't even.
Who's in the Grey Cup?
Calgary? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Saskatchewan? Hamilton?
One of the 8 teams.
I've named half the teams. I have no idea.
No clue. I know the Argos are not in it. That's all I know.
Kahari Jones? I don't even know.
Is he still playing?
I have no idea who that even is.
Is that a person? Did you just say a name? I was like, that sounds like a CFL player.
I want to guess that that's a quarterback.
I don't know. Damon Allen's still playing? Probably not. I assume he's retired.
He's really
like
old.
48.
Yeah, he's really old. And I think the last one comes from our good friend Chris. This might be divisive, or might not. What's the best way to eat an egg?
So, here's a weird thing about me.
Sure. I mean, you already did the like it takes me multiple dumps to take a big dump thing. So.
That's true. Here's a weird thing to me that I don't think is weird, but everyone I tell this to goes, "That's really weird."
Egg font isn't weird. You're weird.
So when I was like 3 or 4,
okay,
I took swimming lessons, as we do.
Not weird.
At the Y. Not weird. After swimming lessons, my dad and I would go to the cafeteria at the Y.
Mm-hmm.
And what was my meal of choice?
Scrambled eggs.
No.
Egg sandwich.
No.
Hard-boiled egg.
That's one of it. It's a hard-boiled egg with a can of V8 and a Kit Kat.
Look at you, little...
I've been an 87-year-old Jewish man since I was
little
4.
health nut.
I've been told that's a really weird snack for a 4-year-old to want. I think it's fine.
I enjoyed it. I don't think you can assign any logic to anything a kid wants ever.
No. Anyway, my answer is Eggs Benedict.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Huevos Rancheros.
I do love Eggs Benedict.
I do too. A really good one's hard to find. Like,
yes.
Any restaurant you can go to will just like dump some shitty hollandaise on an egg and a muffin. You're like, all right.
But I will also never make hollandaise myself.
I've done it a couple times because you can get like some 2-minute microwave versions, which taste fine.
Not the same.
But no, it's not the same.
Melissa, early in our relationship, made Eggs Benedict.
Like full on. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
And I was both like, thank you so much, it's so great. And also like, don't ever put yourself through that again. It's just like the whole process of keeping Benedict, hollandaise sauce.
It's ridiculous.
It's like having a kid. It's like absurd. I assume. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like Eggs Benedict. It's a go-to restaurant order. At home, I think an underrated way to eat an egg at home. It's like a medium boiled egg.
Yeah, I do like a not full. Yeah.
For a very long time in my life.
Soft boiled egg with toast fingers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
For a very long time in my life, I only ever had hard boiled eggs where you like the yolk.
Right.
And I sort of didn't even know there was like a by
do
each
you have
minute,
the like egg holder things? Because I feel like those are key for that meal.
No. But
we don't either, which is why I never make it.
Right. Yeah, but then like literally this year, I was like, oh shit, there's a whole window of boiledness of your egg, and like a 7
soft boiled egg with toast fingers is amazing.
Like a 715 boiled egg.
Yeah,
give it to me. Anyway,
I'm a big fan of just usual weekend breakfast for us. Super boring because we're white, but just like, sunny side up, medium well done eggs with some toast and butter.
Boom.
Love it. Love to see it. Big poached fan, but I guess that's Benedict. Eggs are great.
You gotta love eggs.
Eggs kick ass.
Eggs for lunch is not weird. You're weird.
Yeah.
Who thinks eggs for lunch is weird? Anyway.
No one thinks eggs for lunch is weird. They think it's weird that a 4-year-old wanted a hard-boiled egg.
That much is
V8 and
sort
Kit
of
Kat.
interesting, yeah.
It's not the egg. It's the problem. It's the egg in combination with everything else.
The V8 is sort of good for you, but
I loved V8. I still love V8.
I'm not a huge V8 guy.
I like V8 a lot. I'm not a big Clamato guy.
Okay.
If I could make a Bloody Mary with a V8, let's go.
You probably could.
I won't because I don't feel like it. But
okay.
Let's get out of this segment.
That's as mailbaggy as we're going to get. Really ran the gamut there. Really ran the whole gamut. Nothing left to do. We have one thing left to do. That's to ask the question of the week. Is it sad or not sad after this? Oh boy. Here we are at the end again.
Yeah.
Time is flying by when
Time
we're here.
is flying by.
I can keep going with like...
Is this a long show? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay.
It seems about normal.
Yeah.
We did some lengthy sports. Everything else was sort of regular.
We got talk longer on Don Cherry than I think we planned.
I both time it and have no idea if my timer's right.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I could just look behind me at Dylan's computer and find out, but
anyway.
I like to be surprised.
Before we ease on in to Sad Not Sad, it's new month, new tea. As well as a new brewer, we have a new exclusive drop t-shirt. This one's pretty cool. It's the one and only Captain Tavares.
Captain Tavares.
Capitao. It's a perfect holiday gift.
Capitao, is that what it is?
Capitao.
Capitao Tavares.
Yeah.
I like it.
Captain Tavares.
Sorry for butchering that.
That is not what the shirt looks like or sounds like either. It's Captain Tavares.
Yeah, it's Captain America.
It's like a Captain America. Cool design. Very, very cool design.
Very comic-y. Very up my alley. I like it.
Yeah, great colors. Great art. Cool shield. Captain Tavares. It's available Sportsfeld/merch. Well, click on merch. Perfect way to support us, your best friends at Sportsfeld. Limited run, only available for November. So head over to sportsfeld.ca and support us, the podcast that you love to listen to. Us. And also, as you remember, Avelin Brewery. The Salieri 5% lager with a fiery copper color that foreshadows a deep maltiness. There's also a taste of earthy hops, which brings harmony and balance to the beer. It was delicious. 5%. You can pick it up at 1042 Queen Street East. Come on by to the Avelin Brewery. You can get a pint or a meal or both.
Or a breakfast, apparently.
Yeah. All you got to do is find the pristine white building on the north side of Queen Street, 1042 Queen Street East. We're drinking them for the rest of the month. I think we had the IPA, yeah?
Yeah.
We had the Salieri.
Man, this is so good. I'm a little tipsy and really enjoy that beer.
So next week, we're either having the Kinsman Bohemian or we're having the Geist Stout. Which is a bitter chocolate, dark fruit cocoa. Campfire vibes.
I do love a dark chocolate stout.
Well, in the next 2 weeks, you're going to have some.
I like it.
So many, and that's 4 of them. That's 4 beers they gave us, right?
Yep.
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 different beers.
12 different beers.
All from there.
That's a lot of beers from a new, microbrewer.
And some of these look awesome.
I dig it.
Some of these look like, pineapple and lime skin, a tart saison.
I got to say, as someone who's been a West End
citrus
zealot
zest.
For my life, East End's sort of coming on a little bit.
Citrus zest and black pepper. Wow. These all sound really good. The hoppy Belgian ale, a buckwheat saison, a North American style saison, a classic lager, double IPA, a dry hop blonde. You name it. They got it.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Jake, are you sad or not sad?
I'm not sad.
Not sad.
I feel like a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, last week, 3 weeks, who knows anymore.
Who's to say?
I was talking about the idea of not feeling like an actor because I'm working a job.
Sure.
And the benefits and pitfalls, not pratfalls, that's a whole other thing. Pitfalls of
Buster Keaton. Named
after Chris Pratt, funny enough. It's not. It's definitely as old as Buster Keaton.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
It was.
I lost my train of thought. Yeah, talking about how I felt like I sort of was stagnating in a bit of employment, which is a stupid sentence, especially considering where we came from, but just felt uncreative and whatnot. I started an acting class last night, and it was nice to just feel like I was doing something professionally I enjoyed, even though obviously I'm paying for it and not being paid, and it's not technically a job. But it was just like, it was nice to have 4 hours to kind of be like, I am in an industry that's not sitting on my couch and transcribing.
It's about doing the work.
No, it's just about being in a mindset that's not like.
It's the thing that actors always say. It's about doing the work.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Right. My dad always wanted me to be an actor.
I could see you being an actor.
That's what my dad wanted me to be.
I think you would have been a very good actor.
Because my dad always wanted me to be an actor, and then he wanted me to go on shows, interview shows. And when they asked me about acting, he wanted me to say, "Well, let's just pretend." That's all he wanted.
That was his bad.
He was like, "That's what you should do. Is you should, you'd be an actor." And they ask you about what it was like to act in a movie, and you just say, "I was just pretending."
Yeah, I mean that's not inaccurate.
That's as far as I know. That's acting. My history. I did some very small school acting.
Yeah. Anyway, it just felt nice to sort of feel like I'm not totally zapped of all my creativity for a while.
4-hour acting class?
5 actually.
Jeez. So what do you like?
Not just for me.
For somebody who doesn't know me, example.
Yes.
What is a 5-hour acting class?
Well, I mean, every class is different.
Right.
This one is we get a couple scenes, like basically audition sides to do.
Get them before you come in?
Yeah, 2 days before.
Are you off book by the time you're in there?
Yeah. And then
what are you feeling?
We come in, we do like one exercise with the whole group. And then we all go up in front of a camera and basically shoot it like an audition. And you do your scenes. And then everyone does their scenes. And then we watch them and get critiqued. And that's it.
How's that going for you?
I mean, we just did one. I've done it
watching and being critiqued. Because you hate
I do.
Normally.
I'm getting better at it. I will say I'm getting a little more comfortable.
That's doing the work.
Yeah. The work for me is not learning how to be an actor. It's learning how to watch myself on a screen.
And then apply those notes going forward.
The notes part is fine. I don't mind being critiqued. It's the having to watch myself do it that I'm like, oh, this sucks. But yeah, it was good. It's only been one, and it's just nice to sort of be back in that world, even though it's not actually for work.
I think the nerdiest acting thing I ever did was at a party. We once did a script reading. We did like a dry reading at a party.
Oh, we've done that before.
Yeah. Super fun.
My old roommate revealed.
We read a Seinfeld at a party.
Oh, an actual script.
It was so much fun.
Oh, that is fun.
It was so much fun.
My old roommate Carl revealed to us one night at a bar that in high school he wrote a Bon Jovi rock opera.
God.
And we immediately said, well, do you still have it? And he said yes. And so at 3:30 in the morning, we retreated from the bar to our home and did a full reading with song cues of his Bon Jovi musical. And it wasn't bad.
Wow.
It was like, this could be produced.
I have a question for you off air that we'll take off air.
Okay.
But similar question. Anyway, I think the answer is Blake. Anyway.
Probably. But the answer is always Blake.
Wow. Acting class. Very interesting. I am going to go with, I guess I'm a sad, I don't know. It's tough. Disappointing week. We're supposed to go do some stuff and then the snow.
Right. Yes.
So we were supposed to go meet this is wedding corner time.
Right. It's been a while.
Supposed to go meet the decorator to go over some stuff. And
your decorator's in where you're getting married? Not
she's in Stratford, which is nearby.
Okay.
As well as meet with our people the people who run the venue, and the next day eat our dinner to sample the menu. And the snow canceled all that.
That sucks ass.
So we booked 2 days off and booked a car, all this stuff, and just stayed at home. Drove to McDonald's. That was the use of our car.
Have you rebooked?
Yes, we are rebooked for next week.
Okay.
When it's supposed to be 6 degrees, so fingers crossed. But just disappointing to it didn't snow at all, right? It didn't snow.
Yeah, it was a 24-hour period.
There was no snow, and then it snowed for 2 days, basically, to make driving impossible.
And now it's stopped.
We could have gone today with no problem. It just sucks.
Yeah, that sucks ass. But at least it's only a week, and it's not canceled, so to speak.
Yeah, and we're luckily in a spot where renting a car for almost no reason didn't cripple us. It sucked.
It sucks.
So it wasted our money, but it didn't waste so much money.
Didn't even go to IKEA or Costco, eh?
It was so bad on Monday.
It was really bad.
Monday was so bad. You get stuck driving on our street.
Oh, really?
They just didn't plow our street until today.
Right, because it was one of those. It was too early for the plows to start because our city's broken.
Yeah, city didn't read the fucking. Anyway, it was just bad. Bad snow days. I don't like when it's cold.
No, it sucks.
But we will.
My heat wasn't working this morning, which is bad.
It's a minor sad because we will persevere.
For sure. But I understand.
Disappointing.
I definitely understand being especially for wedding stuff where you're because it's the process, right?
Yes.
And you guys really you guys more so than we do. You guys love the process of the wedding.
Well, you want to continue to make progress, and there's a checklist of things you want to do.
I guess you're also a few months ahead of us too, because when you're getting married.
Yeah.
But It's
6 months away.
I get it. I get that excitement and that like we get to do wedding stuff today, and then you can't. Like it sucks.
And then there's really nothing you can do with those days because it was so crappy out.
Yeah.
So then not only are they not
can't
eventful
even go
days,
and be like, let's go something fun to take our minds off.
Right.
Of it. Yeah.
Not only is it not an eventful day, it's like less than a normal day off.
Yeah.
But it was lovely to have dinner together, and we had time, and we watched television. But
sure, but it's not.
You had bigger plans, and they were canceled. Anyway, not the biggest steak sad outside of everyone. I get it. But we move on. That is it for the show, as far as I can tell.
I think so.
New T-shirt.
It's the end of your rundown.
New T-shirt. Captain Virus. Sportsfeld.ca merch. New brewery. Abilene Brewery. 1042 Queen Street East. Clay Hansler is on vacation.
He is.
But we thank him anyway. He got the beers, I think.
I think Sean, he's got a child at home.
Sean's the real hero.
And he's coming into work.
Sean's the real hero.
Yeah.
Thank you to Sean. Thank you to Clay. Thank you to Dylan for doing all the actual work and listening to this every week and doing all the work.
Yeah. All the work on 2 shows now.
Yeah.
Does all the work on Columbia House Party too.
Monday, Columbia House Party. We're talking Fall Out Boy. And Resting on Pretty, which we listened to yesterday.
Episode 7, I want to say.
Getting up there. Some funny stories in the French this week. Anyway, lots to listen to.
The French was very funny.
Lots to listen to on the Stringer Podcast Network.
Stringer Labs.
Anyway, yeah, that is it for us. Raptors Blazers tonight.
Yeah.
And then they play Luka Doncic and the Mavs.
Yes, I like that we have officially moved on from saying Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis.
Well, Luka's the guy. Anyway, we have lots to talk about next week. We'll see who's healthy. We'll see who's hurt. And we will see you then. That is it. Thank you for listening once again to Sportsfeld.
Sportsfeld!